Y'all bitches ready? It's final review time of the Tati Beauty Blendiful. Talked about this in several videos. I've used this in several videos. I've washed it. I have my thoughts on it. Today we're going to do a final review on the Tati Beauty Blendiful, like I just said. So this is basically the structure that I want to start keeping on my channel. Is I want you guys to see me initially use it, because it seems like we always see, and this is myself included, we always see these like first impressions videos, and then we never really see much of like follow-ups after the first impressions. You might see them in like favorites videos and stuff like that, but I want to try my best to keep like the momentum going, like consistently see a product, because when you first use a product, you almost like learn how to use it. You have initial first impressions on it, and then the more that you use it, the more that you figure it out. Your mind could totally change. My mind could totally change. At least this is how I operate. And I just want to kind of extend it to you guys. Like, use a product and hate it for the first time. The more that you use it, you might grow to love it. Vice versa. You might fucking love somebody, like love something the first time you use it. And then the longer that you use it, you almost like fall out of love with it. So I want to keep this momentum going with specific products. And this one was very hyped up on my channel. And it was because I was so irritated with the initial launch video, and we'll talk about it today. If in the case that you missed my previous videos, you basically kind of get all the information in one video, because I know a lot of people don't love live streams. This is going to be more of just focused on this. I was going to do my makeup while I was talking about it, but I tend to get sidetracked when I do that. So I want to just focus on all of the points that I want to make. I'm going to talk about the launch video again. I'm going to talk about her new video. I want to first start this video off by saying I much preferred the video that she posted today on this product versus the initial launch video. And I'm going to explain why as I get into all like my points and stuff. I first want to say hello to all of my britches coming in the live chat. Hi, everybody. What's poppin', my britches? If you guys like this video, give it a thumbs up. That way I know if you guys want me to keep doing these types of like first impressions, you guys keep seeing me try these products and then wrap it up with a nice little bow and a final review video. And I could definitely keep doing these for you. I see everybody. Oh my God, you guys are so much fun. Notifications are shit. I know. If you're just tuning in, we're just starting. If you're watching the live chat or if you're watching the playback, I will leave timestamps down below. I'm going to talk about pros, cons, all sorts of stuff. We're going to be talking about a lot today, but this is how I want to start doing these videos. So in the case that you didn't see my initial video, we're going to first talk about the initial launch video. And please feel free in the live chat to let me know how you felt about the launch video. Let me know how you felt about the video today. Let me know if you've tried this product, all this sort of stuff. We're here to talk about it. And I feel like this is where valuable information and valuable feedback comes from, is the people that are actually using these products. So let's see. Didn't watch the whole video, but she was over explaining. I feel like it's a situation where you're like damned if you do and damned if you don't. Don't judge my shirt, okay? I just got out of work. So we're going to start with the launch video. I'm going to talk about basically everything that I already talked about. There was a lot that I didn't like about the initial launch video, simply because I felt like it was very misleading, and not necessarily misleading, but I looked at it as a consumer that didn't really know anything about makeup, because I think in this day and age, it's very easy to automatically get in the mindset like everybody knows what they're doing when it comes to makeup, and that's not realistic whatsoever. So when I was initially watching her launch video, I was like, okay, you're saying it's a necessary product. I wrote a bunch of stuff out again. We're going to hit these points and we'll just go into it. So the first thing that was mentioned in the video was she said, this is a product that was unlike no other. I initially said like no other in my original video. She said in her video, it's unlike no other. Whereas I feel like comparing the launch video to today's video, I feel like I think she realized like why people were pissed about it. She corrected, I think, a lot of what she had initially said, because this product isn't unlike no other. If you're not, this is what we're talking about. If you're new here, it's in the title. This isn't unlike no other. There's nothing particularly spectacular about it. It's like the concept of a puff, but with her own little spin on it, which there's nothing wrong with that, but you can't say that it's unlike no other, because I think that sets unrealistic expectations for your consumers. So that was the first thing I didn't like. The biggest thing that I didn't like with her video was her launch video was filtered. And in the case of Tati's channel, a lot of her videos are filtered. I don't have anything wrong with that, but I feel like it's very misleading, especially when it comes to when you're selling your own products. I feel a certain type of way about it. And even in today's video, I noticed like some sections, I don't know if it was her lens or what, it seemed like there was like the filter was kind of going like on and off, because there was some ways, like when you guys look at my skin right now, like I don't have the excessive lights like she does, but I have a ring light, I have a vanity light, I have my room lights, like I have lighting. I might not have this like super HD, but you could see like all the textures in my skin. With her videos, you could tell that there's a filter on them, because you could see like with the brow section, there's like a little bit of blurriness here. When you look at her ears, you could see like her earrings are blurred out. Some lenses are like that. In the case, I had a personal conversation with Tati. I addressed her and I said, I don't love the fact that you have filtered videos when it comes to selling your own products, because it's misleading. It's only misleading in the fact of when you're saying that this is your secret and people are looking at you using the product. It's misleading because it gives people unrealistic expectations that you're going to have a perfectly smooth application. And when you're saying that this is your secret with that, it's borderline like false advertisement, in my opinion. So I didn't like that at all. She just kind of like reiterated her key points, like it's hygienic. You aren't going to, or she wanted you to be able to look at this and know exactly what to do with it. And I didn't personally have that experience. And I feel like if you're not really familiar with makeup, you wouldn't really know what to do with this. If you're more experienced with makeup, you might have an idea. Granted, in her newest video, she's like, you should be able to use this whatever way that you want. And I totally agree with that. This is where I feel like today's video was a much better video than it was in the initial launch video. So since I already covered a ton of stuff with the initial launch video, if you want to hear more of my thoughts, I went in on it in my first initial video. I said all of my issues with it. I want to kind of bring it to today, but those were the main things. And I didn't mention in my original video that her videos were filtered, because I personally did not realize that until I had a comment in my comment section on that video, and I blew up the video, because I usually watch them on like, if I'm watching videos, I'm watching it either on my phone or I have like a minimized screen on like my screen on my computer. You know what I mean? So I have it like really small off to the side, and I'm just kind of looking at that. So I want to just kind of reiterate it to you guys. Take videos always with a grain of salt when it comes to like reviews and stuff, just because in the case, I don't believe that everybody knows that they have filters on their videos, but I do think that there are people that kind of give unrealistic expectations and put filters on her videos. Since I directly talked to Tati, I actually reached out to her today and asked if I could share our actual conversation, and I never got a response back. I basically called her out for it, and she didn't deny that she uses them. She expressed her own insecurities, and that's why she like uses the lighting and all that stuff. So to me, I took it as she knows that she uses that. She knows that she uses filters. She has her own reasonings for it, and there's nothing wrong with that. But when you're selling your own product, that's where I'm just like, maybe disclose it somewhere that you have a filter on your videos. That's all I think. I think if we have to disclose sponsorships, if we have to disclose this stuff that we're gifted products, and like if we have to disclose all this stuff, you should have to disclose that you're using filters on your video when it comes to selling products, even promoting products. I think that's just a thing, or at least it should be a thing. So let's bring it to today's video. Did you guys see her video? I'll catch up in the chat really quick. Let me know what you guys thought about the video today. I see Kara, puff, puff, pass. Crazy that videos can be filtered. Yeah, they definitely can. The last video was a part where, wait, thus last video was where a part where fuzz was from heart-shaped Blendiful was on her cheek, and it kept disappearing and coming back because of a filter. Right. Like you could see in her video today, like her initial video. And I honestly think because I said something to her about the filter, I think she did keep that in mind, because you can see in today's video, like if she looks down, you could see the textures on her face right here. But when she looks up, sometimes you could see it and then sometimes you can't. And that's what tells me it's not the lighting, it's a filter. If it's a filter, it's going to change like the more that you move your face around. That's just how they're designed. At least that's how I am to the understanding of it. But if it's lighting, I mean, if I move my face like this, it might change a little bit, but it's not going to go from like, you could see texture, you could see pores, you could see all this stuff, and then it totally disappear. And this is where I'm like, maybe it's her lens. I'll give her the benefit of the doubt there. But I'm just like, I don't know. It was just things that I noticed, and I'm like, wait. I feel like it was better to see it. Like today's video, I'm telling you, it was so much better than the original one. So let's bring it to today's video. So the first thing that she says is these are not recalled, which I didn't love the fact that she kind of had like a clickbaity title. She basically used drama to gain views, which whatever. I feel like everybody on YouTube does that. But when you're promoting your own product, when you're selling your own product, I don't know. I'm just kind of like, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about. We'll get into it further. Like when she kind of rounds it up at the end, we'll kind of come back to it. But the first thing that she says is these are not recalled. And we understand that things are going to happen with these types of products. She says it's not a bad product. There's no major issues, which I don't really think that there are major issues with it. Like we've seen that the seams are ripping. We've seen like the gray fuzzies. You guys heard me talk about that in mine. Like it nearly like destroyed two of my products, my Tatcha Silk Canvas Primer and my Tower 28 blush. Those were the two products that I've been using specifically with this. And I have like gray fuzzies all throughout it. The reason that she said that she didn't do the like initial full face tutorial is she thought she had enough time. She thought she had enough information out there, which I kind of look at it like if I'm launching a product, I'd rather have too much like information than, you know, feeling like there's just enough, which if that's how she felt, that's how she felt. This is how like she wants to handle her brand. That's fine. The way that I kind of look at it is I don't think that how she had enough was because, again, if you're not watching YouTube videos, like most of us probably are that bought this, but if you're not watching YouTube videos, like you're not looking for these other influencers to review the product, like you're just buying it and then you're kind of going by the website where she just has pictures. And she said, you know, I had pictures on there. I had descriptions of how to use it, which totally fine and dandy, but having a picture with foundation just smeared on your face and then just holding it up here and just kind of looking away, that doesn't show you how to use it. That doesn't say, hey, look at this and this is how you use it. You know what I mean? It's like something like this, I do feel like needed a little bit more information, but I feel like that's something that she learned throughout this process was, you know, maybe going forward, she'll have more content out there. Cause I don't know, I guess that's how I look at it. Like it's one thing to want to have, like give your consumers the opportunity to learn themselves and figure out how they want to use it. But in the case like me, like I use it for the first time and I'm like, okay, I don't feel like this is right. I want to try to find something and I couldn't find anything. That's where I feel like if she had posted her video from today in the launch video, it would have been so much more helpful for me as a consumer just because I've never used something like this before. And I would have just liked to have seen somebody that designed and created this product. I would have wanted to see how they recommend using it. And then kind of figure out how I like to use it the more that I use it. I don't know. That's just kind of how I look at everything. Next thing was she's well aware that it's not a brand new product and it's just her spin on it, where that's fine and dandy. And I think that's kind of a lesson that she learned from her launch video was when you're saying a product is unlike no other, you are making it seem kind of like that. There's nothing like it on the market. Another thing that she said was she wanted to have like the freedom to use it the way that we want. I totally agree with that. I'm the same way with like brushes, any makeup product in general. You can use it however the fuck you want to use it. I feel like that's kind of like a known thing. And I feel like she just wanted to kind of reiterate it to people. Another thing I wish was in the original video. Let's see. I'm like having a hard time reading my own writing. She felt like there was a hole in the market for something like this for consumers where I don't really feel like there is a hole missing. And the one thing that she was saying was you can't really walk into a store and buy something like this where you can't walk into a store and buy this either. but you can walk into a store and buy this though. Like, that's where I'm just like, wait, which way are we going with this? Like, are we saying that this is supposed to be easier to get than anything else on the market? Or I don't know. I guess I didn't really understand like I understand wanting to put something else out there that's not really common, and that's totally fine. But when you're saying like you can't just walk into a store and buy this, yeah, you can. You could buy something that's very similar in texture, very similar concept. It's just one of those things I'm like, maybe we didn't need to cover that. I don't know. I just hate the whole like necessary product. Like she said it today in today's video too. Necessary tool to make readily available, which these types of things are readily available. You have to order this online. You have to order the Linda Hallberg. You have to order pretty much any company that makes something like this. I feel like you have to order it, except for Beauty Blender and Laura Mercier, right? But it's still like a different type of concept. I think one thing that did bother me too was this is kind of marketed. It's just like the whole marketing thing was what I hated about this whole initial thing anyways. I wish she just like put it out and didn't say shit about it. Put out like a full face tutorial and called it a day. Because I feel like the marketing is what really ruined this for me. And this is why I'm picking it apart so much, just because you kind of have to be aware of your influence. And I don't feel like the launch video, I don't feel like there really was anything there. And then today's video, again, was a lot better. With the whole concept of like pro makeup artists use this, but then it was kind of contradictory to say, like in makeup school, they tell you don't ever use velour and put it with makeup. But I thought makeup artists were all using this, like pro makeup artists. This kind of goes back to my original video when I said I do wedding videography. I work with several makeup artists. I never see anybody really use puffs. The only person I've ever seen use like a puff on a regular basis is Patrick Starr. And I feel like if I'd never seen him use a puff, I definitely wouldn't have known what to do with this, or I wouldn't have had any idea. I would have just been like all trial and error. But that was just another thing. I'm just like, wait, I thought this was supposed to be something like, you know what to do with it, but then it's education needs to come in. And then it's, oh, well, they tell you don't use like velour and makeup, but then this is my spin on it, which there's nothing wrong with that. I like the fact that she was trying to be innovative and do something different that isn't done often. There's nothing wrong with that. It's, again, it comes down to the marketing for me. She wanted to give the customer and influencers time to get to know the product, which is totally fine. Then again, like I didn't like how, because she showed a bunch of clips of a bunch of different influencers like, oh, wow, like just kind of hyping up the product like, oh, they think this is amazing. But you didn't really see any like viable, not necessarily negative feedback, but constructive criticism. Like she didn't feature any of that. So it kind of painted it in the picture of, oh, these people know what they're doing, so they all love it. Whereas other people may not know what they're doing with it, so that's why they're having a problem with it. That's just kind of how I took it. Let's see. Another thing that was stressed was it's an intuitive product, where I don't think this is an intuitive product, at least not for me. I definitely don't think it's that case with new users for makeup. Just because a couple people say that it's intuitive doesn't mean that it is. That's just how I look at it. If you define intuitive, it's attaining direct knowledge without evident rational thought. And I don't feel like this really gives you that. That's just, again, me and my opinion. This whole video is me and my opinions. This is just me being a consumer. I bought this with my own money. These are the things that I'm looking for as a consumer. Let's see. She mentioned that she had some health issues going on. That's why there was a delay with the videos, delay with responses. Totally fine. I don't feel like that was really necessary to include, but I understand why it was included, because I can only imagine a person on her level, just the amount of backlash and feedback that she gets, and just overall in general. I don't think it needed to be in there, but I'm not like pissed that it was in there. She has every right to put whatever the fuck that she wants in her videos. Let's just be honest. She stressed that this was not a cash grab. And this was another thing. I'm just like, come the fuck on. She says that they've sold over 100,000 of these. Less than 1% are having issues with them, like, are we Jaclyn Hill? Like, come on, this sounds awfully familiar. Even if that's the case, like, that doesn't matter. There's still people having issues, and I do think that she is being very proactive with resolving those. Like, I personally got a DM from Tati herself. So it's one of those things. But then she kind of goes into, we've made $15 million as a company. I'm not making any money off of this. Whereas if you're making $15 million and you're paying your taxes and you're reinvesting in your company, you are making money from this product. You are making money from your products. Just because you're not physically getting a paycheck from it and pocketing any money, that doesn't mean that you're not making money. You as a company and you as just like an establishment are making money. That's how business works. So you can't sit there and say that you're not making money and that it's not a cash grab just because you're not making money from it, because the reality is you are making money because your business is profitable. Overall, you are making money. That was just another thing. I'm just like, that was totally just not necessary to include in here. But I could see where now, like, she probably feels like she's being attacked because people like me were nitpicking it apart. And that's, I feel like, what we honestly should be doing as influencers. And it's almost like I look at it as I'm not doing my duty if I'm not acting like how a normal consumer would. You know, like a normal consumer is going to ask questions. A normal consumer is going to try this repeatedly, try to figure it out, but then they're going to get to a point and be like, okay, I want to know how, you know, to figure this out. Let's see, less than 1% of issues, which is totally fine. The issues that she's come across are tears. You're holding a hairdryer too close. People are washing it, not in the delicates. So they're getting like lumpy and clumpy. Some people have ripped it open and they're like, oh my God, I don't know what to do. It ripped open, or they purposely ripped it open. We saw Jen Love's reviews did that. Some people used it while it was still wet. Some people are washing it too aggressively. And some people like me were having fuzzies in their products. And there's nothing wrong with any of those things happening. I'm just saying, like, I feel like the whole Jaclyn Cosmetics thing really just kind of gave defaults in products, contaminants in products. It gave it like a whole bad rap almost, because these types of things have always happened. We're just so much more aware of them ever since the Jaclyn Cosmetics things, but that was on a whole nother level. And then ever since that, everybody has such a powerful, presence on social media. But what about the people that don't have social media? Tati Beauty doesn't accept returns. You always have to contact customer service and stuff like that. So it's like, but what about the people that don't have social media? You know what I mean? So it's not like only people on social media are the ones that are buying this. Is that who are mostly buying it? Probably, because we all love Tati. We all want to support Tati. But there are going to be some of those people that just see it on Instagram and they're like, oh, that looks cool. Let me try that. There's going to be just average consumers. There's not going to be people that are, you know, insanely attached to these YouTubers and these companies like a lot of us are. Oh, man. Let me see. She brought up the fact that the palette was a smash hit, which that's all fine and dandy. And she kind of thought it was weird at the fact that, you know, this is receiving so much more backlash versus the palette when they had to do more on the back end as far as like customer service and everything for the palette. But everybody was saying that this is a cash grab, but the palette wasn't. These two things are two totally different situations. Whereas a palette, it's like, it wasn't marketed as a necessary item that you need it. It wasn't marketed as it's something that's so original and so different that it's unlike no other. That's where you can't compare two totally different things. Just because they were launched by the same company doesn't mean that they're marketed the same, and it doesn't mean that they're going to be received the same by customers. So that was one thing I was just like, just because you have one palette or one product that's a smash hit and, you know, there's awards and all this stuff, where I personally didn't like the palette, but that's just me and my opinion. There's other people that love it. Everybody's entitled to their own opinions. It's only fucking makeup. But it's just another thing I don't feel like was necessary to be in the video that's supposed to be about a full face tutorial, you know? She mentioned that they had to assist double with the palette, wasn't considered a cash grab. She thought it was weird that she would reach out to people, like anybody that she saw on social media that was having problems with their products. Like, she reached out to them. Me personally, I got a DM from her. I kind of felt like I may have been included in one of the things that she said, because she said she thought it was weird. She'd either get no response, she got like left on red, and then would like the people would still continue to be like ugly about it or malicious about the product or whatever. The people wouldn't supply order numbers for her, and then people would be like, oh no, it's totally fine, like I love it. Whereas with me, I'm not going to read off exactly our conversation because I didn't get permission from her to do that. But she reached out to me and she offered me a refund. I said, no, I'm going to keep trying it. Like, I don't hate it. I don't hate this product. I hate the way that it's marketed. There's two very different things right there. So I said, I don't want a refund because I'm still figuring out how to use it. I'm going to wash it. I'm going to like, just because I wasn't like, oh yeah, give me a refund. That doesn't mean, and it wasn't even me like bitching about it on Twitter. Somebody had tagged me. I believe it was Zadi Doll that tagged me and said I had the gray fuzzies problem. So Tati had reached out to me. She offered me the refund. I said no, and I said I would let her know I would follow up with her if I had any other problems with it. So I messaged her today, and I didn't receive anything back from her. But I want to make it clear, like, customer service was there. She was trying to reach out to me. She was trying to give me a refund. I said no because I wanted to still keep trying it. That was just, I don't know, just because people aren't like, oh yeah, give me a refund. Like maybe they're still trying to use it. Some people are just those people and want to bitch about things on the internet. You're going to come across those things, but you can't really think that it's weird. You know, if anything, it's kind of weird that, you know, your company doesn't accept returns, but then you're like DMing people on Twitter, you know, not that I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but it's just, why don't you accept returns then? If you want everybody's experience to be positive, because that was one thing that she did express, that she wanted me to have like a positive experience and everything, which I have had a positive experience with Tati Beauty because that's why I keep purchasing from them. It's just because we're critiquing things doesn't mean that we like hate the product or aren't favorable of your brand or anything like that. Oh, I'm like not keeping up with the chat at all. I'm so sorry. I'm going to like refer to it after the fact for a little chat, but I wanted to get through these points because you guys know I get sidetracked. I like the fact that in her video today, she showed how to use it. She showed how to wash it. That was valuable information that would have been so much more helpful initially. And that's where it kind of sucks, like the fact that she put like Blendiful drama in like the title of her video today, because it kind of feels like she used the drama to kind of gain more like publicity for it, which it is what it is at this point. I feel like everybody clickbaits and all that sort of stuff, but it's just one of those things. It's like, did we really have to do that? Come on, you know how this platform works. You know, these types of things create drama and stuff like that. The last thing I wanted to touch on from today's video was calling out reporters for not doing their jobs and getting all the facts, which she has every right to feel that way. I would feel the same way if I was, you know, if I made a comment on Twitter and I didn't want my personal information getting out there and then the media just takes it and runs with it. Maybe don't respond on Twitter. I don't know. It's just one of those things. It's like, I understand the frustration behind it. She's been in the game long enough where, like, you know how it works. You know what's going to get picked up. Yes, they should get their facts straight. But at the same time, when people are having issues and really nothing's getting done about it immediately, like the media is going to take it and run with it. Are they going to exaggerate it and, you know, say, oh, will they be recalled? Like, yeah, because that's going to get clicks. It's just like her video is going to get clicks because it says Blendiful drama and then it says recall right after it. It's like, so the media is not supposed to do that, but you can do that on your video explaining why you did certain things, or, you know what I mean? It's just one of those things. I'm like, wait, why is it okay for you and your company to do it, but not the media to do it? Even though it's not right for them to do that, but at the same time, they want people to click on their stuff. And quite frankly, they don't care if the information's right or not. Like, how many tabloids do we read of incorrect information? It's just, I don't know. Hold on. I'm going to, let me refer to the chat really quick. So is there anything that I missed with, that was all I was going to talk about with the two videos. I've been talking for a half hour and I'm still not on like my final review, like my pros, cons, and stuff like that. Is there anything in the videos that you guys wanted me to touch on, want to know my thoughts on, or anything like that? If you commented something that you want me to comment on right now, feel free. And then after that, I'll get into everything else. Squirrel of Mystery says fake news. Let's see. What's good for the goose isn't good for the gander. Has the texture of your Blendiful changed with washing? Mine has not. Mine has not. It feels a little damp right now because I did wash it today. Look at the president. That's what false information. No, but I just like hearing you talk. Oh, God. I hate hearing myself talk. She was ill. Why keep nagging over marketing? As you will learn, every business has bump in the road. It's her true feelings. Respect them. And that's why I'm being respectful talking about them. I'm giving my criticisms as a consumer because I bought this product. I'm not like ripping her apart. I'm sorry that she was ill. I'm sorry that things come up. I understand that. But when you're selling your own products in your initial launch video, and I do think that she learned from this, I do think that she does take consumers into consideration. And I think that's why her video is different today. I'm not nagging it. I'm expressing my thoughts on my entire experience as a consumer, because I feel like that is what I'm here to do on YouTube. And I feel like that's why you guys watch my videos, is to hear about like my thoughts on stuff. If I'm wrong, if I should shut the fuck up, you guys let me know. But I feel like I had a lot of people asking me for a final review on this. So that's where, I don't know. I don't look at it as nagging. I'm looking at it as constructive criticism. And I'm weighing out the entire situation, my entire experience. Oh, I just got the notification for this live. We love that, YouTube. Have the fuzzies stopped with the washing? Mine have not. So that was another thing that she mentioned. If you wash it once, your fuzzies will stop. I actually used it in my Tatcha product today, and I cleaned off the product, and I still have fuzzies in here. I don't know if you're going to be able to see it because my light is so freaking bright right now, and I won't be able to focus because it's a fixed focus, but I do have fuzzies still in here, and I've washed it 3 times now. So that's one thing that she says, once you wash it once, it will not. I have not had that experience. Tati video, faked wash puff. There was a jump cut, and I don't think it was a fake wash. I mean, it's just like, I wash mine with like Dawn dish soap because I feel like Dawn dish soap cleans everything. I just throw dish soap over it, and I gently wash this. I have had no rips with this whatsoever. It feels like it did when I first opened it. I haven't had any issues. I hand washed mine last night, and it does not feel quite as soft, plushy. But I didn't have gray fuzzies from my product, so I guess each one is a little different. And I'm sure there are inconsistencies within the products, because that's normal. It's normal to have inconsistencies. I don't have any problems with that. No, keep chatting. I love hearing your opinions. I just love how you're so real about products, and no, I can trust your opinions. See, I always tell people, I'm like, take what I say with a grain of salt. Maybe be mindful of the things, and I'm not even saying with just me. Be mindful of the things that we talk about and just maybe consider them. You might get this and love it. Just because I don't like it doesn't mean that you won't. Everybody's preferences are different. Everybody's applications are different. That's another thing. I have a different perspective because I don't do my makeup like most of these influencers on YouTube. Like, it's one of those things. That's why you should always watch more than just like one person. At least that's what I do. I watch people for different reasons. Oh, let's see. Her puff also burst at the same spot for, I don't know what that is referring to. It burst at the same spot. I was definitely different after washing and ripped, but they did send me a new one, so we shall see. I do like it. I just don't love it. See, and that's where we can't be mad, because they are trying to take care of it customer service wise. I'm glad you're talking about it though. Looking at it, it's not intuitive. It looks like it has a learning curve, makes me uninterested. See, that's why I was interested in it. Just because that's just my my reviewer thought. If I didn't do content, I wouldn't have bought this. I was curious about it because I'm like, oh, like you can use it in other ways. Because when I first looked at it, I'm like, oh, you could just apply powder with it. But then when she was saying like, oh yeah, you could apply a full face with that, I'm like, I want to try that. It made me interested in it. And then just like, I don't know, the marketing is just really it really bothered me because I'm like, I fucking love Tati. I love what she does. I love just like, she's like a businesswoman. I think she's very business savvy. I think she's an amazing salesperson. It's just, I think she does the right things with listening to her consumers. And I say this just because I feel like like when I watched her video today, I honestly thought in my head, like she actually listened to what I said when I was DMing her. I genuinely feel like she does listen to her consumers. Ashley says, I guess I'm not that picky. I thought it was a good launch. I thought I got enough information that made me want to try it. Then I watched the video today and got more tips on how to use it. See, I'm glad that the video came out today, but I wish that it came out sooner. I wish it was like her launch video and then had a video or two videos. Just because when I first got it, I tried it. I'm like, I feel like this is so weird. And I wanted to refer to something and I couldn't. You know what I mean? That's the only reason why I was like, I wish that it came out sooner. But I also think that there might have been reasons that it didn't come out sooner, aside from her health situation. I think that she did it. I think she did it honestly very smart because now she can come back and be like, she can answer all of our questions. She can kind of get a handle on all the things that are going on. But I don't feel like she really addressed every single thing. And again, that's where I wish she didn't just show like the positives that people were saying about it. I wish that she did showcase some of the negatives. But then again, if you're a business, you might not do that. So that's where I'm just like, I don't know. It was just, I guess I just maybe take things differently because I'm so familiar with, I don't know. It's like I've been watching YouTube. I've been buying makeup for so long. And I just try to revert back to when I was just starting out, you know? Let's see, the fuzzies. Oh, shit, it just skipped. Oh, God dang it. That just skipped a lot, too. All right, I'm going to skip down here. Well, at least I don't want anybody knowing I'm here for the Blendiful. Barry. When her puff rip, they rip at the same place. I think what I've been seeing is they're ripping like right here with the, where you could flip it over. I think. Why did she show patting the foundation on instead of swiping when her launch video and website said to swipe? I feel like she changed it quick to pat because everyone was bitching about it. See, that's where I feel like it's just, maybe she figured out a different way to use it. Maybe. But that's another thing. It's just like inconsistencies are kind of like, I referred to Manny's review. See, that's where for me, I don't want to go to other influencers when there's a content creator that specifically designed this. That's where it's just like, wait, why? Since you make content, you make your own videos, like you do all your own stuff. Why wouldn't your website have you with content? You know, that's where it's just like, I understand the fact of you wanting to have, you know, like influencers have their moment and stuff like that. But at the same time, if I've been fucked over by influencers like she have, I probably would not be that person. But then again, it's more publicity for her brand because it's reaching more audiences that way. So there's certain things I'm just like, okay, she has a point. Other things I'm just like, okay, you're just being smart business, which I can't fault her for that. But again, I just wish that I had something from the brand itself showing me exactly how they recommend it to be used. Just because I feel like if her video had launched today, if that video was the initial video, a lot of issues would not have risen to what they are now. Does anybody else have any other questions before I get into my pros and cons? Hi, Brandy. What's up, girl? Yeah. Nadie talked about that, how it removed his foundation if he tried to wipe it. So he was patting. he got crucified and had to turn off comments in his video. I heard about that, but I didn't watch his video. Ashley. I don't watch. I was really hoping she had referred to Nady. Is it Nady or Nady? I don't watch him, but I know who he is, but is it, I think it's Nady. I started watching it then. Oh, Ali, Kelsey watched it. I honestly don't know what to think about. Oh. All right, so let me get into my pros and cons. So this is my personal experience with working with this thing. So pro, I think it's different. It's something that you don't see often. I think it works nice. Not my favorite, but it works nice for primer and for loose powder. Those are the only two things that I personally like using this for. I say that just because of how I personally do my makeup. I don't do my makeup where I do primer, a full face of foundation, and then I do a bunch of powders. That's how I used to do my makeup. I don't do my makeup like that anymore. I go in, I'll do my primer, I'll use my fingers, my favorite primer. I talked about it in my favorites video. I'll go in my primer, put it on my face. Sometimes I'll use my Tati Silk Canvas. I did use that today. I don't like the fact that it still leaves those gray fuzzies in my product though. So I personally don't like that about this is the gray fuzzies. Another pro, I don't really have a ton of pros with it just because I just don't favor this. I like it for loose powder. For me, I have more cons than pros. So I would say it's a different product than we are typically seeing. I don't think it's innovative. I don't think it's anything super unique. I'm trying to think of any more pros, but it's just like, it makes my skin look nice when I set it with powder. I think that's all that I have for pros. I have way more cons. So con number one is the gray fuzzies in my products. Number two is it actually dries out my compacts. Like when I was using it with my Tower 28 blush, first of all, it was covered in gray fuzzies. I completely wiped it off because it was saturated. It was horrible. And it was so dry on the top. And then once I wiped everything off, super creamy. So it was like, once I got all that stuff off, and it's going to make sense. Like if it has fuzzies in there, it's going to have those textures. It's going to dry it out. That's like a given. But that was one thing I wanted to mention. Another thing for me that was a con was I feel like it's very hard to control the amount of product that I'm using. I think I overuse product, and it's very hard to have a precise application for me. So with me, you guys probably saw it in the original video. Like when I tried doing contour, it's like I have a hard time getting it exactly where I want it. I have to almost like go in and correct where it was. When I was applying my blush, it was like, it wasn't really blending out that well. I just had a really hard time with just the way that I use products. I could not really control it when even I tried using it like the way that she suggests, like, so you have that pressure and everything like that. I feel way more confident and I feel way more just control when I use brushes. Just for me, that's just my opinion on it. I think I use a lot more product. Like when I used my, the Silk Canvas Primer, that's what I used today. I had to keep going in because I feel like this was just not laying out the product like it does when I just use my finger. And then when I use my powder, it's like I overuse my powder, and it's hard to control the amount that I'm using. I think there's a lot more product waste when I use this. Just like in her video today where she showed her demoing it, she's like, I'm going to grab an exorbitant amount. I don't use an exorbitant amount of anything anymore. I use maybe a pump of foundation total. I'll use like a couple dunks in here. I'll use like my contour. It looks crazy when I apply it, but I'm not using a lot of product. When I'm using this, it's like I'm overusing foundation. Like I'm using 1.5 pumps of foundation, maybe even 2. It's just, I don't think that this necessarily like picks up the product, because if you saw Jen Loves Reviews video, it doesn't like sink in the product. It's just like I'm just laying it down thicker than I like. Like I like a very just thin, light layer of just everything. And it's just how I personally build my colors is how I get the look that I have. Product management was the last thing that I had on here. So for me, I just think I just had a lot more cons than pros. So for me personally, this was not worth it for me. That's just my final review on it. I did mention this in my recent favorites and fails, just because I can't justify the pros or the cons versus the pros. If anything, this has made me reach for the Beauty Blender one more, just because I like that for this one. Like I have so much control on where I'm placing everything. Whereas with this one, when it's almost like it's too big, I think. And I don't like how I don't have, like this one is almost like stiffer. This almost feels like texture-wise stiffness of like the heart one. But I don't like the shape of the heart one for what I would use this for, you know? I like the heart one for just like touch-ups. This one is just perfect. I could stick my one finger in here. I could get real up close and personal in my eye because this is where I'm going to want to use a product like this. Whereas with this one, it's like I have to like bend it. I have to just kind of get it comfortable in my hand, and then I still don't feel like I have the best control with it. It's like I feel like I'm still always like messing with it. And it's probably because I'm not really using it that often, but it's just overall, just for me, this just was not it, sis. And I hate saying that just because that's two for two with Tati Beauty that I'm just not a huge fan of. And again, this doesn't mean that you're not going to like it. It's just for me personally and how I do my makeup. It's not my fave. I noticed in reviews, no one ever uses the small one. What's that about? That one, how it's marketed is that is designed for touch-up. So if you're wearing your makeup throughout the day, you can carry that one with you in your purse. And if you're getting oily or something, you could just like pop it over and it'll just collect your oil. You throw it back in your purse and that's done. Oh, I forgot to grab the little bag. One major critique that I would have on this product is these should come in like a drawstring bag. I mentioned this in my first video. I still feel this way. Instead of coming in that just whatever the hell it is, I don't think it's plastic. Instead of coming in that original component, it should come in like a drawstring bag. That way you could put like the heart blender at least in your purse and it's protected. Or even like a little mesh bag. That way you're not getting makeup and oil and all this stuff all over. A lot of people carry designer purses. I'm not throwing a puff like that I use to touch up on my face. I'm not throwing it in my pocket. I'm not throwing it in my designer purse. I'm not throwing it just in my purse in general, just because I don't want that stuff everywhere. I don't want to get powder everywhere. I want it to have something that it's just like locked up nice. And somebody in my last video, I just saw it in the comments, somebody said even in just like a washable bag that has like a zipper on it or something, I think that would probably drive the price up, but it's more ideal. It's more realistic. And those bags, quite frankly, aren't that expensive. So I don't think it should. I don't think it should make that much of a price difference. I think if you did like a hard case or something like that, even that still probably wouldn't that much. I just think that's the biggest critique that I would have of this is it's not really ideal for how it's marketed as far as, oh, you take it with you. Like, I'm not going to stuff that in my pocket. I'm just going to want it in something. Skeleton used the small one under his eyes. I think Nady, I think he used the smaller one on his entire face and everybody was crucifying him for it. I think that's what I heard. I think a plastic case would be the cleanest, right? I think the most ideal would be like a washable bag. That way you have a bag, you could throw it, like you have no reason not to wash it correctly. And then you just have to remember to put it on delicates. So in order to use the Go one, we need to buy a bag too. No, that's okay. You don't need to. I just think it would have been very smart if they had it in a bag. Okay, so it was him that did that. So overall, do you guys have any other questions for me? This is how I want to do these. Like, this is your time to ask me questions about this because you'll still see me use this. Like, I'll still use this for powders. Like, you'll probably still see it in tutorials and get ready with me's. You'll probably see me use this one more. The main difference, I'll address this too because some people might be curious because This one you can get, I think, at Ulta. This is from Beauty Blender. I don't know the exact name of it. I think you can get this at Ulta and Sephora. I like this one better though, just because it's, I don't know, at first I didn't like this, but then the more that I was using this, I'm like, this just is so much more convenient. And then this did give me good results with my powder. So it made me want to use this more. This one has almost like a silicone, almost like, you know, those silicone beauty blenders that everybody was raving about like a couple years ago. It almost has one of those in here. And then it's just, I don't know, it's got like a little flap where you stick your finger in. It's almost like a finger puppet. That's what it reminds me of. The texture of these are similar. It's not identical. I think the Blendiful is more like Sherpa feeling, whereas this one, it's, I don't know, it's almost like the hair is shorter on this one. But overall, it's kind of like a silver lining. This has made me enjoy this more, you know? Yeah, I was out as soon as washing machine came up, although I know you can hand wash it. It's just, I wish that Zadida was on here because she actually said you shouldn't wash it in the washing machine because washing machines are not very clean. My brushes are shedding tears. That was another thing. She was kind of comparing that this was normal to shed because brushes shed, which valid argument. I still have brushes that shed. But again, I had the issue where it did keep shedding the more that I was using it and the more that I washed it. Does the puff remove makeup when touching up? I don't think so. I haven't tried it for that just because I'm not that bitch. This was the one that I was curious about. I'm like not a touch-up person, really. If I do, I just like, I don't know, just because, especially since I don't have a bag to have it in, like I'm not going to carry it. So I haven't used that one. Let's see. Are you still looking for a new lip balm? Yeah, actually. She washed her Blendifuls twice in the washing machine and the machine didn't get them clean. See, mine clean very easily. Again, I just use Dawn dish soap. I just used this, so that's why it's dirty right there. But it totally cleaned mine. It feels like blotting paper, not really it feels like a blotting paper, not really removing makeup. What feels like blotting paper? Did I miss something? That girl shade washed it twice. Oh, and the makeup was all still on. Oh my god, I remember. I was floored by how she came off. I didn't care at all. I don't know what you guys are talking about. I'm sorry. Completely off topic and TMI, but I nearly killed myself with a shower. Audra, I can't even deal with you. Oh, rice paper. So do you guys have any other questions for me? We're almost at an hour. I feel like I covered pretty much everything. Did I miss anything? I think I nailed everything. I probably could have said some things a lot better. I was trying to be very respectful and everything because I think she learned in this whole experience. I think she learned from how she did the launch video to how she did the update video. There were certain things that I still didn't like. Overall, I feel like she did make improvements. I feel like this video today should have been the original video though. We were saying how she came off condescending in her video. How do you think so? It was just odd that hand washing works better than a washing machine. I'm really not surprised, honestly. Just in my mind, like, because at least when you're hand washing it, it's like you're actually applying pressure to, it's like you're, I don't know. I could totally see where it's more beneficial to do that. I don't know. Maybe just because I don't think to throw my makeup stuff in the wash. I don't know. I just don't think to do that. I haven't tried washing mine in the washing machine and I don't plan on it. I don't even watch her video. I was just uninterested in the product for myself. And that's totally fine. You could be totally uninterested. That ain't no big thing. If you're still interested in it, try it. Always create your own perspectives. I don't like how she blamed the rips on user errors. I don't either, but I could see how some people probably I could see both sides there. I could see that she's probably very frustrated, and it probably is. It's probably heartbreaking that not everybody is loving your product, but then again, that's not realistic either. Yeah, I see both sides there. I'll have to DM you about this one lip balm at the spa works. Yeah, DM me about it. You're targeting dirt when hand washing. Yeah. That's where I'm like, I feel like it makes sense that hand washing works better. There's always defective products. For sure. I completely agree. And that's where, again, I think people just take defects to a whole nother level. Like, I had no intention of like tweeting at her saying, "Oh, I got gray fuzzies." Like, I was just tagged in a post because Zadidel was replying to somebody else saying that I had the same problem. And then Tati DM'd me, I think, from that. She was very apologetic. She was very nice. She told me her perspective on some things, and I appreciated that. And then I appreciated that. I'm telling you, like, when I watched her video today, I'm like, I feel like she did listen to some of the things that I said. Do I think she listened 100%? No, because I still do believe that there was a filter. And that was one thing she really wasn't going to address it, but I just kind of was like, hey, I don't like it, or I didn't like this, because I think as a company, I would look for constructive criticism. That's where it just really turned me off that she was showing these like glowing reviews of people being like, oh, it looks beautiful. Like, oh, it actually blended it out. But then it kind of, I don't know. I just hate when negative feedback is looked at as like hate or something like that. It's like, no, we're trying to make you better as a company. Did she recommend machine washing in her first video? She said you can machine wash it and you should do it on the delicate cycle and you should put it in like a garment bag. She did say that. I thought Tati was a little sarcastic and defended everything in her video. Shit, that just went too fast. I could tell her nerves looked a mess though. Yeah, I'm sure it is very nerve-wracking making a video like that. And that's why I'm not trying to be like a super asshole. Like, I could, but I'm not going to do that because that's not fair. And I do feel like things were done better this time around. And I think it's always going to be a learning experience because she is a relatively new brand. There was just some things I don't think needed to be in there at all. Britt, what are you talking about? Filter. We talked about that. It was very QVC. She was trying to wash out the negative feedback with the noise of the positive. I completely agree with that. I do completely agree with that. And that's just where it's like, so wait, nobody's supposed to have any constructive criticism. That's more or less what I'm trying to do is, constructive criticism. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I was going to say, I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I would change to make it better. It's just, to me, it's not a product for everybody. It's not a necessary product. Like, I never want to hear those words come from a brand owner's mouth ever again, just because your makeup is never, ever going to look perfect. I don't care if you have the best makeup artist in the world. Like, give me Scott Barnes, give me Makeup by Mario, give me all those people. Your makeup is never like 100% perfect. And that's the only thing I thought was odd. It's like, she works with all these makeup artists. Like, did we see anybody, like, I don't know. I have a hard time believing that these are such like a professional makeup artist things. And that's where it's like, well, if these are meant for like professionals, then I don't know. I don't know. I would know this about her new product, but I have been debating on getting her eyeshadow palette. Do you like it? I personally don't like it. I like the pressed glitters. To me, it's too much work for what it is, I think. I love the concept of it. I love the structure of it. I just don't like the formula. That's just my preference. Tati is using her brainless army. See, let's not be disrespectful because that's not right. I don't agree with that at all. Carly Britt doesn't care. Yeah, that was actually in my fails for last month. I don't think it's right for her makeup channel. For makeup channels to use filters, I sure don't. I don't think it's okay. We'll talk about that really quick. There's a lot of makeup channels. There's a lot of channels in general that use filters on their videos. Whether we agree or not with it, that's all personal preference. Some people, like, I personally don't care about it. I care when it comes to, like, you're selling your own product and you're saying, this is my secret. Like, it was just the way that it was delivered. No, filters is your secret. That's why your skin looks flawless. If you're using filters, though, I believe that you should disclose it. I think that should be a thing. But I do think there's people out there, though, that honestly don't realize that their cameras have filters on them. Maybe that's naive of me, but that's my personal opinion, because I just know some very commonly recommended cameras, especially to beauty influencers, like the Sony a5100, the Canon G7X. Those have filters. Like, you take the camera out of its box and you start using it, it has a filter on it. That's just one of those things. Pros will never use this, not sanitary. That was, okay, we forgot to mention that. It was, I started talking about how she was saying it's hygienic and everything like that. I really don't think that it is hygienic, because there's so much cross-contamination. Even though they're your own products, it's still, and especially like when I was watching her use it, she uses it a lot like this. Like, she's always using like the same area. And granted, you can flip it over. You can use both sides of it. But even when I was doing mine, my favorite area to use was this, like the point right here. And it was like, I was always dipping this part of it in my product. So that's like cross-contamination. So even though it's my own, you're still getting the, the cross-contamination. And I think, I don't know, I don't foresee professional makeup artists using this either, just because, I mean, if you're a pro makeup artist, you might buy however many of these that you need, but just for the sake of just pressing powder on your face, I don't see it. This is another pro. When washing this, when you wash it, you like press it to squeeze it out. You don't want to like twist it. I just pressed it to squeeze it out. This does dry rather quickly. It does have like, it doesn't completely dry unless you use like a hair dryer on it, but it does dry significantly faster than this one does. So that is one bonus, that you can almost like wash it, kind of let it chill for a little bit, do like your eye makeup. That's what I did today. I washed it before I came down to do my makeup. I did my eye makeup and then I started using this. It was still like a little bit damp, but that wasn't a big deal to me. I just saw somebody said Brit, and then it went away. At least I thought it did. Gurus are both victims and perpetrators of unrealistic expectations that lead to filters. Product advertising is heightened responsibility, though. It doesn't seem hygienic to me either, unless you're cleaning it or using a fresh one every day. See, that's where you can use both sides. It's just the whole like hygienic part is just, that's how I just noticed myself using it. Like, I always noticed myself just grabbing it like this, and I was always just using the same spot. I was like, the first time I was trying to use other areas, but what was the most comfortable was that same spot. I wish the bottom two corners were more pointy like the top one. Yeah, that's what I really like about this one, is it's like a point. Like, you can get right up in there. Whereas with this one, it's like you can get in there, but see how just like in that little area right there, I lose control. Whereas with here, it's like, if I want it right there, I can get it right there. If I want it right here, this just has way more control than this one does. Pro artists buy $2 puffs and ball. Yeah. Powder puff, beauty blender, silicone sponge, all note from me and Tati. Okay, so last call. Does anybody have any other questions for me? Did you guys find this helpful? Are you sick of hearing me talk about this? This will be the last time that I actually do talk about this. So any more questions that you got, you'll still see me using it. Don't get it twisted. I'm just not going to do like a dedicated video on it. Don't like puff for wet. So much surface area for bacteria. Yeah, I do agree with that. I agree 100%. If they're trying to sell a product, don't tell me the product is amazing if it's your filter. And that was my biggest problem with Tati was it was just this is my secret. And then what really did frost my ass too, because I did tweet about, I was asking if her videos were filtered because I wasn't sure. Like when I blew up the video, I'm like, it looks filtered to me. So I was asking people, and she actually had seen my tweets about that. And I don't know if it was because of my tweets or whatever the case was, but she was later on like her IG story, like walking around being like, oh, filter free face. And that's where when she messaged me, it was like, oh, just like people criticize her for the way that she looks and stuff like that. And I'm like, I don't doubt that whatsoever. But then why are you doing it on Instagram and you're not on YouTube? So I'm just like, I don't know, whatever. It is what it is. I'm still waiting for Barry's review. A break from talking about Tati would be great. Well, I'm just trying to review shit for you guys, so I hope you guys enjoyed it. Love that you did a follow-up video. That's where, I don't know, I feel like I'm always so focused on, like, you get a product, you're really excited about it, and then you're like, okay, on to the next new product. I really want to start zoning in on specific ones, and you guys can get more of an idea. I think it's more helpful that way. Was there a filter on when she zoomed in for application? We talked about it a little bit in the beginning. I think that there was in some parts, but then in some parts there weren't. It was really odd. Like if you blow up the video, you'll see it. It's like sometimes you could see her. I was like paying attention to right here. Like see how I have like little areas right here? She has those like same things. And like sometimes when her head was this way, you could see it. But then when she would put it back up, you wouldn't see it. But then she would turn like this and you would see it. And then other times it was worse. Other times it was like, she kind of had like a slight filter. It was really bizarre, but that's where I'm like, maybe it's the lens. Maybe it's not. At least I could see pores this time. But then like once it got later in the video, then it was like the total filter came back, it seemed like. I see everybody's like, okay, gotta go. Her phone and her camera use different filters. That's how you can tell. Do you have another product on your wish list to buy list from reviewing? I'm curious. I'm going to start focusing on Makeup Geek shadows. That's one of my next ones. I'm trying to think of what else. I have a couple different lash companies. I got the Alamar Cosmetics lashes and the Baddie Bee lashes. I was going to compare those two. I don't know how soon it will be, though, because the Alamar ones aren't in stock. Like, all of them are sold out, so I kind of want to wait until those are back in stock. I don't know. The Makeup Geek shadows were, like, my next big ones. Let's see. Follow-up videos are seriously the best. Well, that's good to know. It's so funny how people's opinions are so different. Like, some people are like, no, stop fucking talking about it. Other people are like, no, keep talking about it. I need to do, oh my God, I need to do a declutter in the worst way. I asked on Twitter today, like, do you guys want me to do my entire collection in one video? Or do you guys want me to break it up? I didn't know that. BRIT, those are face tracking filters. So some parts of her pay. Yeah, like you could tell, like, that's where I'm like, it could be her lens because you see how blurred out the background is. So it's like you could see on her eye, it's like super crisp. But then it's like it gradually gets like more and more gradient. But then it's like, yeah, it's like the face tracking. So it's like it could be her lens. It could be the I don't know what she uses. I don't know. I'm only assuming by what I see. To me, it seemed like part of it was filtered, part of it wasn't. What's on your eyes? Gorgeous. It is the Makeup Geek shadows. I actually have this whole row right here. And then that top one up there, the top blue. So I've got two foiled shades and then the greens. That's what this look is today. This reminds me a lot. I've done a look like this before, and I think it was with the Alamar Cosmetics palette. I think it was the second palette from them. But that's what's on my eyes is the greens from the Makeup Geek. I'm having a real good fucking time with these Makeup Geek shadows. Maybe it's Maybelline. Girl, do whatever you feel like doing for your channel. That's right. Everyone has texture on to their skin. Completely agree. I look for follow-up videos. I guess I look at it like we can't say what we want, less consumerism, but only want to watch new products. Exactly. That maybe it's Maybelline is killing me. I'm a fan of Me too. I like them just because my opinion on something, like sometimes I'll use things and I'm like, I know my opinion won't change, but this, I was trying it. And then it was like the gradual, okay, no, I just don't like it. I'm sorry. Sorry, not sorry. Not everything's going to work for everybody. I was interested in them before. What were you interested in before? The little quad look. So, the e.l.f. I'm never interested in e.l.f. products for some reason. And I think it's the same. My opinions evolve, so I don't trust first impressions. See, it's like, I feel like too with first impressions, you're in like such a rush to get it's almost like they tell you certain things, but then with other things, you're almost like in such a hurry and you form opinions so quick, but then it's like, perfect example, just to give you guys some sort of a reference where I come from, especially with foundations. But the first time I tried the Screen Queen foundation from Milani, I first put it on my face and I'm like, I don't like this at all. And then the more that I used it, I'm like, my skin looks fucking bomb. It's so weird how just things change, and just the longer that you wear something, the more that you wear something, the more you figure out with it. The more that you see like the benefits, like with the Milani one, maybe I won't necessarily apply it to my whole face, but maybe just on like my T-zone because it makes my skin look poreless. It's things like that. It's just, you figure out certain ways to use things, and then everybody's opinions are different. Makeup Geek shadows. Oh, are you not interested in them anymore? Is that what you're saying? Yeah, last week turned me off about Makeup Geek shadows. Yeah, that's that's a chat we've already had on this channel. I've thrown away enough e.l.f. products not to be interested anymore, but the new quads look nice. I haven't seen them, so I'll have to look. I've already had a rant on that mess. The first time I tried the Milani concealer, I hated it and threw it in my drawer and pulled it out last month, tried it multiple times and loved it. See, I had opposite. The first time I used it, I loved it. And then the next time I used it, I was like, holy shit, my eyes look so separated. Like it separated so bad on my under eyes the second time. So I'm like, now I got to try it again. Maybe it was the primer I used. Maybe it was it's like all those things come into a factor. I would like to watch a video on whatever happens to brands like Winky Lux, Flesh Beauty. Like whatever happened to them. I could try to look into something like that. Yeah, the drama was so bad it changed how I looked at Makeup Geek products. Happens every time I become interested in Makeup Geek, so oops. Charlotte Tilbury foundation did that to me. Hated it first. Now I love it. See, it could, one little thing could totally change your opinion on something. Flesh is on sale at Ulta now. See, Flesh for me, it was like so expensive for what it was. I was like, what the fuck? A lot of people sleep in the Milani concealer. Oh, sleep on it. I should change my channel name to Late to the Party. I like e.l.f. concealer and some of their blushes and bronzers. Don't like, yeah, it's like I'm just never interested in e.l.f. All right, I think that's going to be it for today's video. I hope you guys did enjoy this little follow-up video. If you guys do have any other questions, just leave them in the comments down below. You are more than entitled to have your own opinions on this product. Any product in general, you can use this however the fuck you want. I have my personal opinions on it. I've had my own personal experience. That does not mean that you will have the exact same experience that I have. So if you're interested in this product or any product, try it for yourself. maybe you'll have a better or worse experience. Who knows? So what's today? Monday? I forgot to say happy Monday at the beginning of this video. I'll probably be back on maybe Wednesday or Thursday. I'm not really sure yet. If you guys have any video requests, let me know in the comments after the fact as well. I do have Tati's videos, the launch video and the full face tutorial video. I have those linked down below if you guys want to watch those. Other than that, I think that's it for today's video. Yeah, that's it. Oh, one more thing. I don't know. I'm figuring this out still. I streamed just through YouTube today. Let me know if the quality is different after I upload this video. I noticed the past few times after I upload, the quality is significantly worse than when it, like right now, it looks like 1080p. But when I uploaded it, like the past few, it's like horrible. It's very blurry. So let me know your guys' opinions on that as well. And if I have to keep doing it this way, I just can't pull up the comments anymore because that's how I pull up the comments is through StreamYard. So please let me know your guys' opinions on that. Other than that, I'll see you later this week. Talk to you later, bitches. Bye!